Welcome back to another episode of Wake Up and Live with Bob. Jamaica is a constitutional monarchy, which means that Queen Elizabeth in England is the final sayer of whatever is done in our government. We also have a constitution by which things are actually done. So we're not exactly a democracy, but we are operating under democratic principles. Now, if you had to think about what this actually means, it would be like imagine putting a rat in a large box and say, you can run around, you can jump up and down, you can kinpupalik as much as you want, but whatever you do in there, I decide if that is actually wholesome and will be allowed. All right. Now, you might be wondering why do we tolerate such a system and not go for a full-fledged autonomous system? Well, there's been a long efforts of conservative politics in Jamaica that actually has been opposing us moving into full sovereignty. In fact, we have only had since 1962 roughly about two prime ministers who were actually reformist. One was a social justice prime minister that actually gave us 80% of the personal right laws that we now have today. In fact, personal right laws and laws that protect Dr. Birds and law that protect crocodiles and law that protect trees like lignum vitae tree and so much. So he was a social justice reformer. And the second one was a administrative reformer who actually changed tax laws, the tax codes, allowing government to have more revenue to spend, and in so doing, was able to create most of the schools we now see here. Was able to reform the airports, how the airports now look, and so forth, and all the seaports, and was able to make sure all Jamaicans could have a telephone if they want. Now it expanded to becoming cell phones if you want, and a whole lot of stuff like that. So he was a administrative reformer. Since then, all we've had is prime ministers who follow the status quo, and the status quo is pretty much about self-preservation, keeping themselves in, and so they can be voted in over and over and over and over and over, regardless of if they've made any major reform or changes over the years. All right. Now, and which brings to mind the present system gives us a prime minister, actually, the executive, who has way too much control, in my opinion, over country and party. All right. So the party cannot operate independently of the president, and the president doesn't operate independently of the party. When you see one, you see the other. That creates a system where we keep having the same things over and over with no real change. So, what would be my suggestion, my solution to that? Give us a republic. Give us a country that has full sovereignty. All right. In doing so, give us also an executive, an independent executive. Doesn't matter if you want to call that executive a prime minister or a president, but give us an executive that has a term limit. You cannot vote them in forever, irrespective of whether or not they've been good for the country. Not necessarily good for the party, but good for the country. All right, so give them term limits. Okay, what that would require also is that you give us an independent legislature. Right, give us a body of lawmakers that are independent of the influence of the president or the prime minister. Let them make laws, good laws that suits the people of the country, and then have the prime minister or the president have the final sign off on it to say this is good, or I approve. Okay, what that would do, my friends, is give us a situation in which we can have government working for people instead of these individuals or these individuals that do well or the individual politicians themselves. If you are happy with the system as it is, my friends, keep it. But if you are not, change the bloody system. Give us a republic. Give us an independent executive with term limits. Give us an independent legislating body of lawmakers. Thanks again for watching Wake Up and Live with Bob. If you haven't yet done so, please like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell and tell someone about us. Thanks again for watching.